ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? I received a request I've received multiple requests actually to do some Swahili, which I have a very, very basic knowledge of, but want to get better at. And someone, maybe this week, one of you lovely subscribers, actually said, why don't you do a sort of map and history of the Swahili language and then do some Swahili. So I thought that was such an amazing idea. I've been thinking about it since I read the comment a couple of days ago. So let's do it. So if you like maps, the first bit is for you. If you like facts, then we're going to do that second. And to close off, we're going to do some Swahili together on Duolingo. Hopefully you can stick around for all three parts, but you can skip a little bit. Just don't tell me. Okay, so primarily Swahili is spoken in Tanzania. But actually the extent to which it can be spoken by native or near native speakers is much bigger. I read somewhere today that it's therefore considered to be one of the 12 most important languages in the world. And it is used as a lingua franca between these countries in Africa. When I say lingua franca, I mean, of course, that if someone from Tanzania meets someone from Kenya, or Uganda, or Rwanda, Burundi, they might speak different languages as their first language, and therefore they think, okay, I want to speak to this person, how will they understand me? And then they talk in Swahili, opposed to English, or, like many countries over this side of Africa, French. I'm just going to consult this little map here to check. Okay, so let's just compare. Now, I saw a more accurate sort of square when I was looking earlier on that showed it a little bit more than this is just all of the DC Congo. Got Wales on the mind. Cymru. Whereas I think only a small section of it actually has any speakers of Swahili. So Tanzania is this large country in the middle. I mean, don't get me wrong, DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo, is much larger, but I think only this sort of area would have speakers of Swahili. The DRC is a French-speaking country primarily, I believe. So, Uganda is here. Uganda, Tanzania, DRC. This here is Kenya, Nairobi being the capital. I believe a part of Somalia, this sort of southern section of Somalia, and a tiny bit of Ethiopia would also contain some speakers as well. Maybe even creeping into South Sudan. And then these two little countries here, little comparatively, but obviously about as big as Wales, Rwanda and Burundi. See if we can find the capitals of each. Bujumbura looks about right. Where's Rwanda's? I thought it would be indicated much larger. Maybe they're small cities. Mushiri, Busuku, Kabuga. I thought I would recognize one, but I don't. Curious. See if I can find that later. Uganda is Kampala. Kenya, Nairobi, we knew that. Tanzania, Dar Salam. Malawi, Lilongwe. Zambia, Lusaka. DRC is Kinshasa. Somalia is Mogadishu. Oh, actually one of these is Zanzibar, yeah. I forget, is Zanzibar a different country? Tanzania, Zanzibar, okay. So if you think of the whole of Africa, Arabic is spoken in these countries here, French here, Portuguese here, Angola, Mozambique, and then I suppose English, as well as many other languages down here. I think as well Zulu and Xhosa in South Africa certainly, and parts of Botswana, maybe Zimbabwe. We'll be talking a lot later about the influence of Arabic on Swahili itself. So just remember how close Arab-speaking countries are. Sudan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Oman. Oman has got quite a big part to play in this story, actually. I'll come back to it later. Just remember that, because the influence on Swahili is massive. Absolutely huge. I prefer seeing the green. Okay, so we've taken a really overview look at East Africa. Let's get some info about this area then. So, Swahili, the main regions where Swahili is spoken. So Tanzania is probably the principal area. Etymology, the origin of the word Swahili in its phonetic equivalent in Arabic. Sahil, coast, broken plural. So this is a plural which is it changes the vowels internally. Sawahil, coasts. Swahili, belonging to the coasts. Anything ending in li in Arabic means belonging to it. So Arabi, Arabic. Swahili, off the coasts. So this language even gets its name from Arabic. And it says here that up to 20%, although down here it tells me that someone else estimated 35% of words in Swahili come from Arabic. And I've been doing some today to prepare for this video, and trust me, many words do come from Arabic and are recognizable for an Arabic speaker. However, we need to talk about Bantu languages to understand Swahili, particularly when we come to learning a little bit of it later. It was really, it blew my mind actually, understanding about the Bantu languages. It says the northeast coast Bantu languages are spoken along the coast of Tanzania and Kenya, including inland Tanzania as far as Dodoma. But Bantu languages can be found in lots of areas of Africa, including Ghana, over in the west coast. And although they won't be mutually intelligible, they do have similar grammar. So Swahili is a Bantu language. We'll come to the importance of that and what that means to the grammar later on. But it really, as someone who had even done a lot of Asian languages, not just European languages, it's still, you've got to change your way about thinking about languages completely. Omani Arabic. Can you see that I scroll up too far? So, language of Oman. The Al-Hajar Mountains of Oman. It was formerly spoken by colonists in Kenya and Tanzania, but nowadays remains spoken on the island of Zanzibar. Is the source of most Arabic loanwords in Swahili. Someone's dog. Really Swahili history, you can see that, blah 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 blah. So that's quite important that it's come from a particular type of Arabic. The earliest known documents written in Swahili are letters written in Kilwa, Tanzania in 1711 in the Arabic script that was sent to the Portuguese of Mozambique and their local allies. The original letters are preserved in the historical archives of Goa, India. I thought this was lovely, actually. This apparently is the Lord's Prayer. The Catholic version of the Lord's Prayer, written in Swahili. Baba Yetu. So that's... I'm trying to remember what it is in English now. I remember I used to have to pray every morning in primary school. Baba yetu uliye mbinguni, jina lako litukuzwe, ufalme wako ufike, utakalo lifanyike, duniani kama mbinguni. Utupe leo mkate wetu wa kila siku, utusamehe makosa yetu kama tunavyo wasamehe na sisi waliotukosea, usitutie katika kishawishi, lakini utuopoe maovini. I can understand a couple of things. Baba is father, so that must mean our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. So Gina is name, Lako is his, so hallowed be his name. Jina lako, duniani, dunia in Arabic is world. I'm trying to think of the line in the English text. Leo is today. Kila siku makosa yetu. So yetu is must be our as well. Kama tunyavosme masisi. Waliokutusea. Na is and. Usitutie katika kishawishi. lakini utuopoe maovuni. Swahili is such a beautiful language, must be said. I do subscribe to someone who does Swahili as ASMR, so I'll try and put a link to his channel in the info box if I remember. And if you like his channel and you subscribe, then mention that I have given him a shout out, because I love supporting other ASMR artists. Okay. I hope you haven't been zoomed out for long. I just noticed that it lost focus. Okay, Swahili. So it's known by its native name, Kiswahili. This is the thing that we're going to get used to. The first letter or two of the word changes. This is the thing, the grammar point that I was talking about with Bantu languages. Ah, yeah, see, they're all across Africa. I was saying that some of them are in West Africa. So, the first, rather than the end of a word changing, it's actually the beginning of a word that changes, which actually happens in Welsh as well, but just to the extent it happens, everything has a class, so it's not masculine or feminine, but you'll have different letters representing different concepts. So I think in this concept, ki is something like a language or thing. So kitu is a thing. So ki at the beginning. And if you want to pluralize it, then you change the first two letters. So I think it's a V. So not that there are more than one Swahili language, but if there were to say Swahilis, you'd say V Swahili. And this is apparent here. I saw it earlier. Where are you? So it says, can you see this? Yeah. Swahili is a person. So at the beginning means it's a person. So if you imagine most names of humans, apart from family members, curiously, start with So mtoto is a child. Mtu is a man. Swahili is a person who speaks Swahili. The plural is wa. Not adding an S. You actually change an M to a W-A. So wa Swahili. So this happens very consistently. So mtoto is a child. Watoto is children. Mtu is a man. Watu is men. Swahili, wa Swahili. Americani, wa Americani. An American, Americans. And the language, as I said, with a ki Swahili. This blew my mind. And now I love it. Because it's, grammatically speaking, it makes perfect sense. And when you learn them, you can just guess a new word. Because I know if it's got an M, then it's belonging to a human being. And if it's got wa, it's the plural of the human being. The other thing that we'll see later, maybe we won't, I don't think we'll get that far, is that this then, like, if you have in French a feminine noun, then the adjective which follows is feminine. This happens in Swahili. So the verb, if you say a Swahili person speaks Swahili, then the word for speaks will also have an M on it. Or if you say a Swahili person has a nice accent, then the word has would have an M on it as well. So everything in the sentence will have an M. So it's a very rhythmical language as well, because if you're talking about a person, every single word in the sentence, the noun, the adjective, the verb, will all have M's at the beginning. It's crazy. Okay, let's go up here. Swahili is spoken in lingua franca in the African Great Lakes. So all you Americans out there, there are Great Lakes in Africa too. Other parts of East and Southern Africa, including Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, and Kenya. Some parts of Malawi, Somalia, Zambia, Mozambique, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC. Comorian, spoken in the Comoros Islands, is sometimes considered to be a dialect of Swahili. That Comoro is here. Not far from Madagascar, which you probably know of through the Pixar films. Sheng is a mixture of Swahili and English commonly spoken in Kenya and parts of Uganda. Swahili has a 16 to 20% Arabic loanwords in the language, including the word Swahili from the Arabic Swahili, people from the coast. The Arabic loanwords date from the contracts of Arabian traders with the Bantu inhabitants of the east coast of Africa over many centuries. Under Arab trade influence, Swahili emerged as a lingua franca used by Arab traders and Bantu peoples of the East African coast. The exact number of Swahili speakers, be they native or second language speakers, is unknown and is a matter of debate. Various estimates are put forward, which vary widely, ranging from 50 million to 100 million. Swahili serves as a national language of the DRC, Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda. Shikomor, an official language in Comoros and also spoken in Mayotte. Look at that picture. Beautiful. It's a territory of France. Le département de Mayotte. Main island, Grande Terre. Small island, Petite Terre. Is closely related to Swahili. Swahili is also one of the working languages of the African Union and the Southern African Development Community. It is officially recognized as a lingua franca of the East African Community, an intergovernmental organization composed of 6 countries in the African Great Lakes region in East Africa: Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, South Sudan, Tanzania and Uganda. Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda, is the chairman. In 2018, South Africa legalized the teaching of Swahili in South African schools as an optional subject to begin in 2020. Botswana followed in 2020, and Namibia plans to introduce the language as well. Cool. Official language in 4 countries: Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda. And recognized minority language in Burundi, DR Congo and Mozambique. Regulated by Baraza la Kiswahili la Taifa in Tanzania, Chama cha Kiswahili cha Taifa in Kenya. Swahili has become a second language spoken by tens of millions in 3 African Great Lake countries, where it is an official or national language, while being the first language to many people in Tanzania, especially in the coastal regions of Tanga, Pwani, Dar es Salaam, Mtwara and Lindi. In the inner regions of Tanzania, Swahili is spoken with an accent influenced by local languages and dialects, and as a first language for most people born in the cities, whilst being spoken as a second language in rural areas. Swahili and closely related languages are spoken by relatively small numbers of people in Burundi, Comoros, Malawi, Mozambique, Zambia and Rwanda. The language was still understood in the southern ports of the Red Sea in the 20th century. Swahili speakers may number 120 to 150 million in total. Swahili is among the first languages in Africa for which language technology applications have been developed. Swahili played a major role in spreading both Christianity and Islam in East Africa. Arabs brought Islam and set up in madrasas, the Arabic word for any type of educational institution, or set up madrasas, or madrasa, yeah, school, where they used Swahili to teach Islam to the natives. The arrival of Europeans in East Africa, Christianity was introduced in East Africa. While the Arabs were mostly based in the coastal areas, European missionaries went further inland spreading Christianity. But since the first missionary posts in East Africa were in the coastal areas, missionaries picked up Swahili and used it to spread Christianity, since it had a lot of similarities with many of the other indigenous languages in the region. It's only got 5 vowels, the same as Spanish, so pronunciation is very easy. So A, E, I, O, U. It's got, let me see. It's got ch and sh. R does exist, but only in loanwords from Arabic. Ch as well, I believe. There is th and the differentiations. And I think probably one of the hardest sounds for an English speaker is the at the beginning of a word. So you might have a sort of ngamu or something, which is a little bit tricky, but otherwise it's very easy to pronounce. Usually languages which are lingua francas are very easy to pronounce and try and pick up. Swahili is now written in the Latin alphabet. There are a few digraphs of native sounds, ch, sh, and nya. K and h are not used. C is not used apart from the digraph ch. And assimilated English loans, and occasionally a substitute for K in advertisements. There are also several digraphs of Arabic sounds for which many speakers outside of ethnic Swahili areas have trouble differentiating. The language used to be written in the Arabic script. And it explains that a little bit more, talking about how to do it. And it explains what it used to look like. That's clever. Grammar. Okay, I just want to read this to you, and then I think we'll probably do a little bit of Duolingo. Noun classes. This is the thing I was talking about earlier. It's the key part to understanding this language. So unlike European languages that have masculine and feminine and neuter, these have noun classes. They are roughly analogous to genders in other languages. For example, just the suffix O in Spanish and Italian marks masculine and A feminine. In Swahili, prefixes mark groups of similar objects, so prefixes rather than suffixes. M marks single human beings, mtoto. Wa, multiple, watoto, children. U marks abstract nouns, utoto, childhood, and so on. I think, what was it, kitoto, is that childish? I think my book said. And just as adjectives and pronouns must agree with the gender of nouns in Spanish and Italian, so in Swahili, adjectives, pronouns, and even verbs must agree with nouns. This is a characteristic feature of all Bantu languages. Couldn't have said it better myself. Semantic motivation. The key V class historically consisted of two separate genders. Blah, blah, blah. So kisu, knife, kiti, chair. From unti, tree, wood. Oh yeah, so ki is like an object. And the plural of it is vi. So kisu, knife, visu, knives. Kiti, chair, viti, chairs. And also the Arabic word kitabu, book. Vitabu is books, which freaked me out. Kutub in Arabic, of course, is books. Kitab, kutub, which is a broken plural. Examples like kitoto from mtoto, infant, kitoto. Oh, I thought it was infantile, but okay. Tawi branch, chumba, ki and umba makes ch. Chumba, room, from nyumba, house. Okay, blah blah blah. We're not going to go through them all, but there are so many. You just have to learn them all. Learn the first letter and what they sort of stand for. Oh yeah, the Swahili word for book is kitabu, borrowed from Arabic, kitab. The plural kutub. However, in Swahili, vitabu. I swear I didn't read this. Mualim, teacher. Mualimina was interpreted as having the prefix of class 1, so become mualimu, plural walimu. Arabic madrasa, even though it is singular in Arabic, with plural madaris, was reinterpreted as a class 6 plural madarasa, receiving a singular form darasa. Huh, strange. Similarly, English waya and Arabic waqt, time, were interpreted as being class 11 starting with W. Became waya and wakati, the plural nyaya and nyakati. Oh my god, so times in Swahili is nyakati, and wires, waya becomes nyaya. That's strange. Mimi is I. Ni. So you stick ni on the beginning of a verb. And then you put the class. Depending on whether it's a. So singular. Oh no, okay, I've lost now. No, I'm not going to go into this right now, it's too difficult. We'll just do a little bit of Duolingo together and sort it out for ourselves. Okay. Mimi ni Tanzania. So I said earlier on that means a person. So Tanzania is the country, Tanzania is a Tanzanian. So therefore the plural is wa Tanzania, Tanzanians. Mimi is I, ni is the verb to be, and it doesn't change actually. I am Tanzanian. Mimi ni Mtanzania. He is Chinese. Yeye ni Mchina. That's really easy, right? Just take the name of the country, but in front for one, or wa for more than one. So I think wow is they. Wow ni Wachina. They are Chinese. Yeye ni Mchina. He is Chinese. It could also be she. Yeye can be both. Yeye ni Marekani. He is American. They are American would be wow ni Wamerikani. Mimi ni Mchina. I am Chinese. Mimi ni Mholanzi. Holanzi is Holland. I am Dutch. Mimi ni Mholanzi. You are Kenyan. Nyinyi ni is this plural? Wa Kenya. Nyinyi is plural. Wewe is singular. Okay. Nyinyi ni wa Kenya. You are wa Kenyan. You are wa Kenyan. Kenyan. Wewe ni Amerikani. Where we see, so it was you. Oh. I can't use two hands, so I can't do capitals. You are American. Mimi ni Amerikani. Oh, I managed to. I can't do a lowercase I. That's just disgusting to look at. I am American. Wewe ni Mholanzi. You, in the singular, are Dutch. Wewe ni Mholanzi. He is Tanzanian. He is Yeye. All of the verbs to be are ni. And it's just one, so it's and then Tanzania. Yeye ni Mtanzania. One more. He is Kenyan. Yeye ni Kenya. Correct. I know I am. And so modest too. I love these outfits about rodents. I really think that mice and rats are cute. Okay. Greetings. Cool. Oh my god, I did not know that. Kaka's brother. I can't imagine Kaje is cool, so poa? Yes, I guessed correct. I think it means cool as in cold, not as in like awesome. Emilian Kaje. How did you wake up? Greetings are a bit strange. How? Emilian, how did you wake up? How did you sleep? Umelalaje? I did this earlier and I don't know any of these. Salama. Peaceful day, surely. Peaceful. Salam. Salam alaikum. Hello, Rahima. Rahima Mambo. Baba is like dad. Rahima Mambo. Safi. It's clean, right? Oh, it's good. Safi. Amazing. Is that from Arabic too? I think it is. Another correct correct solution. Clean. Yeah, I think in Arabic it reminds of the word for clean. Work. Must be kazi, surely. Kazi. The news is good. Habari is news. Habari ni nzuri. Habari ni nzuri. The news is good. Nzuri is good. Well, zuri is good. This is so this must be an N class concept. How was your day, Dad? Baba. Umeshindaje? Umeamkaje? How was your day? Umeshindaje? Baba, umeshindaje? How are you, Juma? Juma mambo? Hujambo mambo? Juma mambo? Hujambo? Which one's right? Okay. Cool. Boa. Grandfather, how did you wake up? Grandfather is like Babu. This is the Umia. I've never seen this word. Umiamkaje. Umiamkaje. Baba. Umiamkaje. Let's do another one because I've not done that. Rehema. Usiku. No, that's usiku is like evening or night. Rehema hajambo. Usiku na mchana. Usiku, night, and mchana is afternoon. Yeah. Night and afternoon. How are you? Wewe si jambo? Oh, it's just Hujambo. Oopsie, I fell into a trap. Sisi Hujambo. We are fine. We are fine. Sisi is we. Hatu Jambo. Jambo is the sort of greeting. Good. Hatu Jambo. We're fine. How are they? Hawa Jambo, I think. Yeah. Mimi si Jambo. Is that? I am fine. I am well. Mimi is I. Si Jambo. Which confuses me because si is the negative form of the verb to be. Ni is I am. Si is I'm not. So maybe it means like I'm not bad rather than I am well. We are okay today. Leo is today. Leo. Is it Hatu Jambo? For we. Hawa Jambo is they, I think. And Hu Jambo might mean you. Si Jambo is I. We are okay. Hatu Jambo, yes. Leo Hatu Jambo. Hu Jambo. I said you, right? How are you? So the first two letters are telling me who we're talking to. And the last bit, the Jambo bit, is like the good. So good, you. Si Jambo, am I good? They are fine. Hawa Jambo. So the Hawa is the plural. Yeah, Hawa Jambo. I am fine and he is fine. And is na. So I am fine is si Jambo, na. And then he is fine. Ha Jambo. I think ha is usually for he and she. Ha Jambo. And it should be si Jambo. Si Jambo. Si Jambo na ha Jambo. How are you? Hujambo. Where Hujambo is also possible, yes, okay. How are you doing at home? How are you doing at home? Hujambo. Nyumbani. Nyumbani. Nyumba is home, house. Hujambo. Nyumbani. Hamjambo is also possible. That must be the singular you. How are you? Hujambo. Yes. Awesome. Okay. It's time for one more. Let's do some present tense practice. So just to show you what I mean. But the ni is the I. Na is the present tense marker and then the verb comes last. So in this case, pika is to cook. Sema is to speak. Lala to sleep. Fikiri from Arabic ending in an I is to think. Uliza is to ask. Fundisha is to teach. Kimbia is to run. All verbs end in A, unless they are Arabic and they end in something else. They will never end in a consonant. They might end in an I if they're in the negative as well, I learned earlier. Hatu fakiri. So fikiri is to think. We do not think. So this, I learned that Arabic verbs don't change the last letter. But in this case it would have been an I if it's in the negative anyway. We do not think. Hatu fakiri. We do not think so is another. Wanafunzi wangu hawapendi kucheza. I don't have a clue about this. Wangu is my. Wanafunzi. Was plural. My something. Oh. The students. My students. Wanafunzi wangu hawapendi kucheza. Hawapendi, so they don't something kucheza. Ku is the infinitive marker of a verb. Kucheza might be to dance. Hawapendi, they don't like to dance. My students do not like to dance. To play. Hawapendi, they do not. So apendi is to like. Hawapendi. How is the negative? They do not. Wanafunzi wangu hawapendi kucheza. Hansomi na hampiki. Hamsomi. So it's a negative verb for a he, she, it. Oh, can't be. There's none of that on my options. You is the one. You don't. Hamsomi. Why is it you? Oh, it must be the singular. Hamsomi. Oh, soma. Is that to read? Or you don't read. And hampiki. You don't. It's definitely not think, which is fakiri. Cook. Kupiki was cook, right? Don't cook. Don't read or study. Hamsomi na hampiki. You don't read and you don't cook. You don't play with me. I don't know with. It's just and. Na. Nini hamchezi na hamchina. Might be that one. Hamchezi nami. Yeah, that looks looks more like it because Mimi is I. So na is with, me is I. Ham chezi is probably the right one. You is ham, chezi is play. Yes, ham chezi nami. Hatupendi kukimbia. Hatupendi. Someone doesn't like, you don't like, we don't like. We don't like, we don't like. Kukimbia, to, it must be run. Kukimbia, to run. Running, we don't like to run. Hatupendi kukimbia. They are not writing and they are not studying. Wow. Not writing. Hawandiki babu. Wow, handsome. It's just this one, I think. There's nothing about karibu is hello. Babu is grandfather. So they drew me in because they is wow, but you don't need it. So hawandiki na hawasomi. Yes. Hatunui. Hatunui. Oh yeah. U. This Y is actually U. Like U. Hatunui. Asabuhi. Asabuhi is morning. From asbah. Sabah in Arabic. Asubuhi. So hatunui. Unui is to drink. So someone doesn't drink. He or we. We do not drink in the morning. We do not drink. Hatunui asubuhi. You don't sleep in the afternoon. Afternoon is mchana. Hamlali. Yeah, kulali was to sleep. Hamlali mchana. Hamchezi na mimi. Na mimi with me. You don't play with me. You don't play with me. Or it could be dance as well, couldn't it? Are the children not arriving? Watoto hawafiki? Watoto, I don't know they're arriving, but I know watoto is children. My students do not like to dance. Wanafunzi wangu hawapendi kucheza. You don't eat at night. Usiku is at night. Hujambo is a greeting. Asubuhi is morning, so hamli must be you don't eat. Hamli usiku. We don't need to eat. Hatuhitaji kula. I think that's it. Yes. Hatuhitaji. We don't need kula to eat. They are not coming home today. Hawaji. Looks like a negative. Hawaji. Oh, if it is G, then that's looks like an Arabic. Ja. It's to come in Arabic. They're not coming. Nyumbani. Home. Leo. Today. Yes. Hawaji. Nyumbani. Leo. They are not coming home today. Hi. Sorry, it cut off the end of my video, so I'm just doing a really quick bit to say thank you so much for the suggestion to do that video. I really, really enjoy doing it. If you or anyone else have more suggestions of interesting things we can learn about, then just drop me a comment and I'll see what I can do. Maybe it'll be your suggestion next time, okay? If you enjoyed the video, then you know what to do. Give me a like and drop me a comment, and I hope to see you soon. But for now, have a really good sleep. Have a nice rest.